Less than a year ago, I never meditated, I never read, and I went to the gym like once a week if I was lucky. I had no consistency. I was addicted to video games, to scrolling, and if I wanted to eat junk food, I would just go for it. Now, I meditate twice a day, I read for an hour every single day, and I haven't missed a workout in 7 months. But it was not easy, okay? I went through a truckload of hardships, of regrets, of inconsistency. I've been on self-improvement for 4 years now, and only in the last year have I actually made any sort of progress. So I'll be telling you the real lessons that I learned, the practical things that I wish I started doing sooner, so that way you aren't stuck in this like self-improvement limbo for 4 years and you can improve faster than I did. This video is no BS, okay? I'm not like sponsored by anything. I don't have enough subs or viewers to get sponsored. And there's no like GBT in my script, okay? So these are every single thing I'm gonna say in this video, all the tips are real that actually came from my life, from my own like self-improvement journey. So no more fluff, let's get to the first tip, which is to lower your ego. So I thought I was hot when I was on my own self-improvement journey. I thought that with the snap of my fingers, I could lock in and become fucking David Goggins, Adonis, magical, work 24/7, no complaints, maximum discipline, okay? That is a myth. It is not realistic at all, okay? I thought that, I could just say, okay, tomorrow I'll do better. And then magically tomorrow would happen and then I would change nothing, but for some reason I would end up doing better because I said so. So I had this ego in me that said that I could fix and change my life very quickly. And the issue with this is it's not fucking realistic. You cannot change your life in a single day, especially if you've been building up these bad habits for years and years and years of your life. Like, think about it. You've probably been playing video games for your whole life. You've been scrolling for your whole life, right? You've been building up these bad habits for years and years and years of your life. You cannot just snap your fingers and then become like the GOAT all of a sudden. But that's the biggest mistake I did. This is actually why this is the first tip, because I think this identity change is really, really fucking important. What always happened is I'd have these high expectations. I say, tomorrow, we're going to get so much work done. Tomorrow's going to finally be the day I fix everything. I change my life. And when tomorrow comes, inevitably, right, I would always fall short of this high expectation. When I fall short of this expectation, I would always feel really shit about myself. I'd be like, fuck, I wasted another day. Oh shit, this is so bad, right? I didn't even get anything done today. The issue with this is now my mental health is bad because now I'm always like hating myself at the end of the day. I'm just like, fuck, man, I didn't get anything done. You're such a piece of shit, right? I'd end up hating myself. And when your mental health is shit, just know the rest of your life is going to be shit. And it's going to be even harder to escape this hell. So the way you prevent this is you just simply lower your ego. You recognize that you're not gonna fucking change your life with a snap of your fingers in a single day, and you're certainly not gonna change your life by saying, oh, tomorrow's gonna be different, okay? What you want is small, consistent, measurable change that is derived from actions you took to actually change yourself. And I have a bunch of tips explaining how to do that, including the next one, which is to increase friction. One of the reasons why I never did the good habits and I wasn't consistent with them is because the friction between me and my good habits was very, very big, very, very vast. Just think about it, right? In order to go to the gym, I didn't have my driver's license back then. So in order to go to the gym, I have to get changed because I'm probably in my pajamas. I'm lazy fuck, right? I have to go make a shaker cup smoothie protein powder. I have to put on my shoes. I have to probably go ask my parents to drive me because I didn't like taking the bus and I didn't have my license. So I have to get my parents to drive me to the gym and then commute, 10-minute maybe commute to the gym. And then I can actually start my workout. So you can see how there's so many steps to this, right? And the younger, retarded version of me, when he was thinking about going to the gym, would be like, nah, that's too much work. It's this whole like 20-minute ordeal getting ready to go to the gym. That is friction. Friction between you, okay, your current self, you and your present self, and the action that you want to take that is good for you. In other words, you want to decrease the number of steps you take between whatever you're doing right now and your good habit. So there's a lot of micro optimizing to be done here. For example, reading, right? I always read in one spot. I read in my living room. And I used to, for some fucking, like, I don't know why the fuck I did this, but I thought it'd be a good idea to keep my book by like my bedside instead of the spot that I always read in. So in order to like read, I'd go to the place and I'd always be like, oh yeah, my book's not here. So I'd go to my bedroom and grab my book and come back. But the thing is, this is such a big unnecessary step. And what would always happen is when I go back to my bedroom, to pick up my book, my bed's right there. It's all comfortable. It's nice and warm. I'd fucking crawl in half the time, right? So what I started doing is I just put my book by my reading spot. I decrease this friction. I remove this unnecessary step in my life. And then so when I go to read or when I think about, oh, okay, I should probably read now. It's on my schedule. I simply have to walk over there. You know, I remove this unnecessary step. A really good example of this, I think, is getting a pull-up bar. Because if, let's say you want to train your pull-ups, right? You want to do more pull-ups, be strong, you know, calisthenics and shit. If you don't have a pull-up bar, what you have to do, most likely, okay, is you have to go outside. You have to go to the gym and go do pull-ups, right? So you have to go drive, again, the whole ordeal, change, drive, shake your cup, whatever, water, go, drive to the gym, then you can do pull-ups, right? Unless you want to do it on your, like, fucking staircase or something. But, like, realistically, okay? If you get a pull-up bar, you've decreased the friction so much. Now you can do pull-ups in your own fucking house, literally on any doorway. And if you want to decrease the friction even more, you can put it, what I did is I keep my pull-up bar like always on my door frame. And then every single time I walk in and out of my room, I have to do like 3 pull-ups or something, right? So that's literally how I trained myself to do pull-ups. It's just, I had it always available, always in front of me. There wasn't any friction at all. There weren't any steps that I had to take between me right now and me doing my pull-up, because my pull-up bar is right there. I don't even have to set it up. So you can see how making your good habits easy incentivizes you to do them more often. This isn't really something I can like, this isn't like a end-all be-all fix-all situation, right? You have to do some thinking on your own. I'm not gonna lie to you, but just take some time. Think about how you can reduce the friction between you and your good habits. And inversely, how you can increase the friction, increase the number of steps between you and your bad habits. But that's not the focus of this video. You can watch my other video on that. The third tip is that the morning and the night routine should be unfucking shakeable. So obviously, like many other kids, right? My sleep was completely fucked. So I went to sleep whenever the fuck I want. I woke up whenever the fuck I want, as long as it's like, you know, wake up before school, right? It was all over the place. It was like 11 p.m., then 1 a.m., then, you know, it was never before like 10 p.m. or something, but then maybe 10, back to 1 a.m. Maybe my friends wanted to play video games, so I stayed up until 2 a.m. Some like crazy jumping up and down. Therefore, my sleep was all over the place. Therefore, my sleep quality was absolute shit. Like, dog shit. And I woke up like shit as well. And when you wake up like shit, you start your day off like shit. Okay, you start your day off like shit. That is the worst possible thing you can do, because we're all about building momentum here, building consistency. And if you start your day off shit, especially for, you know, autistic overthinkers, probably like me and you, what our brain tells us is like, oh, you already ruined today. You know, you didn't even start off well today. You might as well fuck around and try again next day. This is like a terrible mentality that kept happening to me, because I just wake up like shit, because I slept like shit, and then because I woke up like shit and I wasted the morning, the rest of the day was way, way, way fucking harder to like revive the day, you know, bring it back to a good note. So that is why one of the best things I've ever done for myself is to sit down and say, okay, Ivan, you can fuck around the whole day. You can play video games the whole day, junk food the whole day, scroll the whole day, do no fucking work, as long as you do one thing. That one thing is go to bed on time within the same 5-minute window every day. And tomorrow, when you wake up, perk up, don't stay in your bed and scroll. These are the 2 things. You can fuck around the whole day. I literally don't give a shit if you deal drugs and chill, like slaughter someone, as long as you go to bed on the same time every single day. And the reason this was so effective is because now I start to wake up feeling energized, feeling rested. I have not only more energy throughout the day, but I start my day off well. And because I start my day off well, that momentum carries through, and it is easier to continue with this momentum than to revive it. I don't want to use this analogy, but there's static friction and there's kinetic friction. Okay, sorry to anybody who doesn't know physics, but there's static friction, kinetic friction. It's like how kinetic friction is always smaller than static friction, because it's easy to keep a thing moving than it is to start that thing moving in the first place. I guess a better example, a way fucking better example that everyone knows is like your car. It takes more gas to turn on your car than to just keep it running, right? So you want to keep this momentum. The way you're going to do it is you're going to go to bed on time, and you're going to wake up on time. Since you're going to wake up on time, you're going to feel good. You're going to be more energized. You're not going to wake up like some dumb like Patrick Star, like retarded, like, you know? And since you're going to wake up on time, you're going to have a good start to your day. Good start to your day. You can just carry that momentum forward. Tip number 4 is habit stacking. So what is one thing that you do every fucking day that you're consistent in? It's school, right? It's your school or your work or it's your university, yada, yada, yada. It's one of these things. Because even if you're not consistent in the rest of your life, you're 90% of us, maybe some of us are just like junkies or dropouts or something, right? But 99% of us are super consistent in school. We don't like purposely miss school, right? Because, you know, our parents probably yell at us, or university, or, you know, if you're older, maybe you have a job. The other thing that you can be super, super consistent in always is, if you just listen to my last tip, is your sleep, right? All of us need to go to sleep every fucking day. That's non-fucking negotiable. Of course, you're going to go to sleep. And so if you listen to anything I've been talking about, if you listen to the last tip, you have 2 points of consistency in your life. You have your school and your work, which is, I'm just going to say school, okay? It might be work for you, but I'm going to say school. You have your school, which is super, super consistent every single day. You know exactly when your school is going to start and when it's going to end. And you have your sleep, when you know exactly when you're going to sleep and exactly when you're going to wake up. So these are 2 points that you're 100% consistent in. The goal of habit stacking is to stack good habits with these things that you're fully consistent in the hopes that these things, their 100% consistency is going to rub off on the other habit. And let me just tell you right now, it fucking works like high heaven. So the biggest way I apply this in my own life is I just started working out before I go to the gym. Now I'm lucky as shit, okay? The gym is right next to my school. There's a rec center right next to my school. And so this made it really easy. I would always just go to the gym right before I go to school, and then I could just walk to my school. And because I went to school 100% of the time, I had 100% consistency as when it comes to school, that rubbed off on the gym, and I started to have a 100% consistency in the gym. I started to go to the gym every single day consistently, and I didn't change anything else, right? Like I didn't get a gym buddy at the time. I didn't do anything else. I still worked it on my own. The only difference is I connected it. I linked gym, a good habit. I stacked it with school, another habit. And their consistency rubbed off on the gym and made us more consistent. This is why people have night routines, right? Night routine, because everyone needs to go to sleep. And so the consistency of having to go to sleep every single day at the same time is going to rub off on the habits you put in your night routine. So for example, my night routine, I have meditation and gratitude journaling, and I never skip those. The reason I never skip those is because they're connected to my sleep. They're tied to my sleep, which is 100% consistent. Which means that if I want to maintain that 100% consistency in my sleep, as a byproduct, I also should meditate every day, gratitude journal every day, drink a smoothie every day. This is super, super powerful. You can also stack habits like after your school. So after my school, I always, I drive straight home. Okay, I like literally I sprint out of my fucking classroom straight to my car. I drive straight home and I immediately start a deep work block. And this deep work block is tied to my school. I literally called it. I have it named like not deep work, because all my other deep work blocks, they're just called deep work or just work. I literally named this one after school deep work to tie it more evidently with school so that the consistency rubs off on each other. So habit stacking is super, super important. Again, this is one, I can't give you specific examples, but just do some thinking. You can literally copy me. Put your meditation in your night routine, work out before you go to school or work out after you go to school, whatever. You can copy me and I promise the consistency is gonna fucking astound you. The 5th tip is the grand gesture. So there was a major tipping point in my life, okay? So 4 years self-improvement, the major tipping point that happened about less than a year ago is final exams. I had final exams for grade 11, and these were the first ones I cared about because grade 11, you can use your marks to early apply to universities. But grade 11 is when your grades start to matter. And because it mattered so much, when it came to finals for the first semester, I studied way harder than I did for any of my other finals because I want a good grade, right? So the week before my finals, all I did was just wake up on time, go to bed on time, and then study at the library. And I think this is what really like pushed me forward, because I was making slow progress. I was like climbing out of it slowly, but this thing really gave me a big like jump start because I had a whole week where I was forced to be disciplined. I was forced to do work. I was forced to not do the bad habits, because if I did the bad habits or if I skipped out on my work, what would happen is I would fuck up the final. And because I'd fuck up the final, I wouldn't get into a good university, yada, yada, yada. So I had a whole week of like unparalleled consistency, unparalleled work, unparalleled discipline. What happened after was I kind of realized, I was like, wait a minute. I really do have like a bit of that ego crept back in, right? I was like, oh, wait, I kind of do have the potential to just lock the fuck in. And so that really gave me a lot of motivation. And I just said to myself, I was like, okay, after finals ends, carry forward this like motivation and this discipline. No, don't like revert back. Just keep going on with the amount of work you're doing right now because you're doing really, really good. And it obviously dropped a little, right? Because the pressure from finals is gone. So my consistency, my good habits, everything else, it dropped a little bit. But the improvement was still there. There was still lasting impact. And that's the power of the grand gesture. Okay? The grand gesture is doing something big in your life, making a big change, a humongous change, lots of investment that will change your life for the foreseeable future. So it's something you do once, one time, and you get like payoff for the next like couple of months. To tie back to my example, right? My grand gesture was locking the fuck in for finals, and it really, really fucking paid me off with hella consistency and everything else. Now, once again, sadly, like, okay, I'm gonna level with you, okay? I like giving tips that are very like practical and applicable, that I can just tell you exactly what to do. You can do it. But the grand gesture is something you have to think about yourself, okay? Think about exactly what you can do, what you can put a shit ton of effort in, like a bunch of effort in, just one time or like 1 week, that will give you a bunch of lasting impact. Another grand gesture I personally did, I dropped like $200 on running shoes because I wanted to run. Me and my friend are trying to like train for a marathon, right? I dropped 200 smackaroonies, 200 fucking Google X on running shoes. And for like a kid, a high school student, $200 is low-key a lot of money. And so I did all of this investment into my running shoes. It would be so retarded if I was like, no, I don't want to run. I'm too lazy. Call off the marathon. I don't want to do this. I'm just, I'm a lazy bitch. Because I spent $200, then I just wasted $200. That's another example of the grand gesture. Small, like mini grand gestures could be like cleaning up your whole room. Clean up your whole room, delete all the video games. So you can do an overhaul, right? Clean up your whole room, delete video games on your computer, and do some like lifestyle design or something. Spend like 2 hours, 3 hours on that. That's like a mini version of like a grand gesture. But sadly, this is something you yourself have to think about. I can't like tell you what's the best grand gesture for you. The last and one of the most important tips is to reflect every single day. Let's say you're in a pitch black room and you need to find a rock inside. So there's a rock somewhere in this pitch black room. You cannot see anything. You have to find a rock in it. What most people are going to do is they're going to stumble around blindly, just fucking on the floor, wave their arms around like a dumbass until they find the rock. Sure, that's what most people are going to do. What reflecting is like turning on a flashlight or your night vision goggles, okay? Turning into an owl, turning on your night vision, and lasering to the rock. Just be like, oh, rock's right there. Sprinting straight towards that fucking rock and just being like, bang, I got it, bro. Because a lot of discoveries you're going to make on your own. Okay, what's going to happen in your self-improvement journey is you're going to figure out a lot of things about yourself, okay? And you're going to figure specifically a lot of things, a lot of tips and tricks that are very customized, personalizable to you. What's going to happen on your self-improvement journey is that you're going to have lots of realizations about shit that you should have done and regrets. You're just be like, oh wait, I should have been doing this earlier, or I should have been doing this, or because you're constantly improving every single day, right? Because you're constantly improving and you're constantly changing, there's going to be things you realize about yourself that you should have done earlier that really helped you out. Just like the analogy I just gave, you're basically in the black room and you're stumbling into these like tips, these regrets, these things that you knew you should be doing but you didn't do. Reflecting every single day is a way of like zoning into them, finding them way fucking faster, like turning on your night vision goggles, finding them way faster so you don't just blindly stumble into them. You actually purposefully search for them, thus they arrive in your life faster, thus they can benefit your life faster. Reflecting every single day is how you get that 1% small consistent improvement. And it's how you take all the practical tips and everything else I've said, and you probably heard from other YouTubers, and you actually apply it to your own life. Because everyone's situation is different. Different things are going to work differently for different people. There's no like solution that just fixes everybody's life. Okay, there's some like very broad ones, right? But even those can be optimized better for your life. The way you optimize them, the way you make them better for you specifically is you reflect. So what I do is at the end of the day, for about 5 or 10 minutes, I just do a quick recap of the things that went down today. What I do good, what I do bad. And then every single day, I come up with an actionable goal for tomorrow. So let's say today I scrolled for 3 hours and I was like, okay, I scrolled for 3 hours. Why did I scroll for 3 hours? Because I was tired after school. Why was I tired after school? Just because I have afternoon crashes. Okay, cool. We figured this out because we did reflecting, right? Then I'd be like, okay, to stop this, tomorrow what we're going to do is after school, I'm going to take a cold shower and I'm going to go on a 10-minute run to sort of boost my energy. That way, the moment I go home, I'm not as tired. Let's try that tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, I would do those things and it would work. And then I wouldn't scroll for 3 hours. I wouldn't lie on my bed after school. I'd be like, okay, that's a real actionable practical tip I just learned for myself. Now, every single day after school, I should do something to raise my energy, like running or cold showering. It's like, reflecting is like a constant, you're like an experiment, right? You're an experiment right now. Reflecting is like the constant improvement an iteration of said experiment to just, and remember, you're the experiment. So iterating it and improving it thus improves you. So reflecting every day, I think, is so unbelievably important. It's how I've come up with all these tips. Like all these tips like habit stacking, grand gesture, all of these things I figured out through a reflecting session. I was reflecting, I was like, okay, why did my life get so much better following the week following finals? Well, oh yeah, like I barely did any video. Like I checked my phone time. Oh, I barely went on my phone. I just was so locked in. Well, why was that? Oh yeah, because of the pressure for finals, yada, yada, yada. So reflecting allows you to learn a lot of things about yourself. And when you know yourself, you're going to be really like solid and fucking golden in developing practical tips and molding the strategies you have to best benefit you. Just make sure you keep going and you don't fucking stop, okay? The self-improvement, changing your life, is a roller coaster, okay? Like the first tip, lower your ego. You cannot expect great change. It's like the stock market, right? It goes up and fucking down. You can't predict jack shit, okay? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, crash down, okay? But on a general level, it tends to go up. That's the life we live in, okay? You're gonna have weeks that are perfectly consistent, followed by weeks where you fuck around and do nothing, okay? You're gonna have a perfect day followed by like a completely shit day, okay? It's fucking up and down, okay? There's no predicting it. The only thing you should know is that you should never stop. You should always just keep going, no matter how, like the lowest low or highest high. You just gotta keep improving, keep iterating, keep that consistency up. And as long as you never stop, change is gonna be inevitable. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it if you learned anything, if this video was helpful to you, that if you hit that sub button, because obviously we're trying to grow the channel, right? And yeah, so this is my second ever edited video. Hopefully you could see the improvement between this one and my first one. I'm gonna try and make these videos better and better every single day. I'll be reflecting on these videos, right? How I can make them better and how I can help more people. But yeah, that's basically everything. And remember, never give up, yada yada yada. See you guys.